The basketball slammed into my chest like a freight train, knocking the wind out of me before I even hit the gym floor. "Get up, Alex. You think life's gonna pause? 'Cause you're hurting?" Elena's voice cracked like thunder, her eyes, those fierce, unyielding brown eyes, boring into me from across the court. Not a hint of pity, just raw expectation. I gasped for air, tasting blood and sweat, wondering if this was love or just another layer of the hell she'd pulled us all into. That was the day I realized her training wasn't about hoops. It was about survival, the kind that scars you deeper than any bruise. We'd been her boys for 3 years, 5 strays she'd scooped up from the system's gutters, and now, with the state championship looming, the secret she'd buried in us was clawing its way out. Jordan's hand gripped mine in the shadows of the bleachers later that night, his whisper hot against my ear. "She's breaking us, Alex. But what if she's the only one who knows how to put us back together?" I was 12 when Elena Ramirez first walked into that stale group home in Albuquerque, New Mexico, her boots echoing off the linoleum like she owned the place. She wasn't some soft-hearted social worker with clipboards and condolences. Nah, she was a force. 5'6" of muscle and grit, her dark hair pulled into a no-nonsense ponytail, wearing a faded Lobos hoodie that screamed she'd once been somebody on the court herself. The other kids scattered like roaches, but I stayed put, slouched against the wall with my arms crossed, sizing her up. I'd learned early, trust was a sucker's bet. "Alexander Hale," she said, not asking, just stating it like she'd memorized my file down to the foster dad who'd left bruises instead of bedtime stories. "You any good at basketball?" I snorted, because what else do you do when life's handed you a deck of jokers? "Depends. You any good at minding your own business?" Her laugh was sharp, like shattered glass, and she didn't flinch. "Kid, my business is making winners out of wrecks. You in or out?" She didn't wait for an answer. By week's end, she'd filed the papers, and just like that, I was hers, first of the 5. The court signed off quick. Elena had pull, whispers of old coaching creds from her days at the university, back when she'd led the women's team to nationals before a knee injury and a bitter divorce sidelined her. But adoption, that was her rebellion, her middle finger to a world that had chewed her up and spat her out. She turned our rented ranch house on the edge of the city into a makeshift dorm. Bunk beds in the garage, a hoop nailed to the backyard fence, and rules etched in stone. Rule 1, no quitting. Rule 2, family doesn't bail. Marcus came next, a lanky black kid from the res up north, 13 and all sharp elbows and sharper tongue. He'd been bounced between relatives after his mom OD'd, landing in juvie for hot wiring cars just to feel the wind in his hair. Elena found him mid-fight in the home's rec room, fists flying over a spilled tray of mystery meat. She didn't break it up. She joined in, blocking a wild swing and pinning him with a look. Energy like that? Wasted on the court, not cages. He glared, but 2 weeks later, he was crashing on our couch, his beat-up Nikes kicking dust across the threshold. Then Tyler, the golden boy from LA, transplanted after his actor parents imploded in a tabloid scandal. Dad's affair with the co-star, mom's spiral into pills. At 14, he was all surfer blonde and easy smiles, but his eyes held ghosts, the kind that make you flinch at loud noises. Elena spotted him at a foster fair, charming the volunteers while picking pockets on the sly. "Thieves make great point guards," she quipped, slipping a 20 back into his pocket. He laughed, real this time, and packed his duffel that night. Dylan was the quiet storm, 15, Irish red hair and freckles that hid the foster system's roadmap of scars. Abandoned at a firehouse, passed like a hot potato till he stopped talking altogether. Elena coaxed him out during a pickup game at the park. He drained threes from half-court without a word, his shots whispering through the net like secrets. She knelt after, handing him a Gatorade. "Words ain't mandatory, kid. But heart? That's non-negotiable." He nodded, and we gained a shadow who became our anchor. Last was Jordan the Enigma, 16 when he arrived, with olive skin, messy black curls, and eyes like smoked quartz. Dark, pulling you in whether you want it or not. He'd run from a Chicago group home after coming out to the wrong counselor, the one who doxed him to the bullies. Bruised ribs, a split lip, and a bus ticket west landed him in our orbit. Elena met him at the shelter, where he was sketching court diagrams in the margins of a Bible. Artist with angles? You're my shooting guard. He smirked, but his hands shook when she hugged him goodbye to the old life. We were a mismatched squad, me at center, built like a wall from too many street scraps. Marcus slashing from the wing, Tyler dazzling with crossovers, Dylan silent sniper from deep, Jordan the glue, reading plays like poetry. Elena's house buzzed with chaos. Laundry piles taller than the fridge, midnight runs to the ER for sprained ankles, her yelling drills at dawn while flipping pancakes. But beneath the sweat and shouts, something bloomed. Not just skill but us, brothers, forged in the fire of her unyielding vision. It started innocent, those first practices. The backyard court, cracked asphalt under the relentless New Mexico sun, became our cathedral. Elena ran us ragged. Suicides till our lungs burned, box outs till we bled, film sessions till our eyes crossed. Pain's your teacher, she'd bark, tossing towels like lifelines. Ignore it. You lose everything. We grumbled, but we came back. Because for the first time, losing wasn't an option. Not when she'd stare us down and say, "You're mine now, and I don't raise quitters." School blurred into backdrop. We transferred to West Mesa High, the scrappy public joint on the west side, where the Lobos were perennial underdogs. Coach Hargrove, a pot-bellied relic, handed reins to Elena after one parent-teacher night, where she dismantled his lazy rotations over cafeteria coffee. "Let me," she said. He did. By sophomore year, we were varsity starters. The Ramirez Renegades whispered in hallways like a curse or a prayer. Jordan and I, that was the undercurrent, the pulse beneath the baseline. It crept up slow, like heat lightning on the horizon. We'd linger after drills, shooting free throws under the floodlights. His laugh cutting the night when I'd airball on purpose just to hear it. "Clown," he'd tease, bumping my shoulder, his touch lingering a beat too long. I felt it first in the gut. A twist electric when he'd crash into me during a rebound drill, our breaths sinking in the tangle. He was out, unapologetic. I'd buried mine deep, terrified it'd shatter the fragile thing we'd built. One August evening, monsoon clouds bruising the sky purple, we were the last two on the court. Marcus and the others had bailed for pizza, Tyler dragging Dylan with promises of extra cheese. Elena watched from the porch, nursing a beer, her silhouette sharp against the screen door. Jordan sank a fadeaway, smooth as sin, and turned to me with that grin. The one that unraveled knots I didn't know I had. "Your turn, Hale. Make it count." I missed wide left. He jogged over, close enough I could smell his soap and sweat, and adjusted my form. Hand on my elbow, fingers grazing my wrist. Elbow in, eyes on the rim, like you're aiming for something real. His voice dropped, and when our gazes locked, the world narrowed to that point. The arc of possibility hanging between us. We kissed there, tentative under the first fat raindrops. It was clumsy, all noses and nerves, but it ignited something primal. His lips tasted like cherry chapstick and courage, mine like the fear I'd swallowed for years. Elena's porch light flicked on, but she didn't call us in. Just watched, her face unreadable in the downpour, as thunder rolled like applause. From there, it was stolen moments. Hands brushing in the van on road trips, his foot hooked around mine under the dinner table while Elena ranted about box scores. We didn't label it. Didn't need to. In a house of strays, love was just another way to claim your spot. But whispers spread. Tyler caught us once, mid-whisper in the garage, and punched my arm with a wink. "'Bout time, Romeo." Dylan sketched us in his notebook, two figures intertwined on a cord of stars. Marcus, he grilled Jordan over video games. "Hurt him, and I'll bury you under the hoop." Elena knew. Of course she did. Her eyes missed nothing. The way Jordan's lingered on me during huddles, the flush on my cheeks after we'd sneak off to the arroyo behind the house. But she never said a word, just pushed us harder, like the intensity could forge our fragile thing into steel. Team's only as strong as its secrets, she'd mutter during cool downs, her gaze flicking between us. We thought it was about plays, about outfoxing the Rio Rancho Rams. But nah, it was deeper. Always had been. Junior year hit like a crossover dribble. Fast, disorienting. We were 18-2, cruising toward regionals, the local paper dubbing us the Miracle Mutts. Elena's methods drew side eyes. The blindfolded passing drills at midnight, the trust falls off the garage roof into foam pits she'd scavenged from the dump. Builds instinct, she'd say. Life don't give warnings. Parents grumbled at boosters' meetings, too rough, too weird, but wind silenced them. We were her canvas, and she painted with fire. But cracks spiderwebbed. Tyler started slipping parties, girls as alibis, his easy charm curdling into something jagged. Just blowing off steam, he'd shrug, showing up hungover to practice, his shots clanging off the rim. Marcus clashed with refs, his temper a live wire. One technical ejection cost us a home win, Elena benching him for a week. Anger's a chain, not a weapon, she told him, her voice low, haunted. Dylan withdrew further, his sketches turning dark. Courts cracked like fault lines, figures falling through. Jordan and I, we burned brighter, but it terrified me. Nights tangled in my bunk after lights out, his breath warm on my neck, whispering dreams of college scouts, pro dreams, a life beyond the system's shadow. You and me, Alex, against the world. I'd pull him closer, but doubt gnawed. What if Elena's machine broke us? What if this us was just another drill, another layer of her unbreakable code? The secret simmered, unspoken. We'd catch her in the kitchen at 3 a.m., poring over old photos. Her college squad, young and invincible. A faded team pic from her pro tryout days, before the injury. One night, I found a letter crumpled in the trash. Yellowed, addressed to E. It read like a confession. You were my everything, but the game took you. Don't let it take them. Signed R. Her ex. Player? I shoved it back, heart pounding, piecing it. Elena hadn't just coached women. She'd loved one, fierce and forbidden in the 90s sports world. Outed, blackballed, knee giving out in the final game. A metaphor for it all crumbling. She'd built us in her image. Survivors, secrets woven into sinew. But the biggest one, it wasn't the drills. It was her heart, how she'd trained us not for trophies, but for the fall. To love without apology, to rise when betrayed. Betrayal struck in February, cold as a winter inversion trapping smog over the valley. Tyler cracked first. We'd scouted the Volcano Vista Hawks for semis. Holed up in the community center, Elena diagramming defenses on a whiteboard stained with marker ghosts. Tyler slipped out for a smoke, returned reeking of more than nicotine. Later, in the van, his phone buzzed, ignored at first, then frantic swipes. Jordan caught it. A text from Hargrove, the old coach. Tell them no, or the stories come out. We confronted him at home. Circle around the kitchen table, Elena's chair empty. She'd stormed off after a call from CPS. Some busybody sniffing around our unconventional setup. Tyler's face crumpled, blonde hair falling like a curtain. It's nothing, just, he knows stuff. About Elena. Before us. Stuff like what? Marcus leaned in, voice a growl. Tyler swallowed. She didn't just coach. Back in college. There was a girl. Teammate. They were together. Hargrove was an assistant then. He covered for her, but when it leaked, scandal, knee blows out in the championship, career ends. He says if we beat Vista, he'll spill it all. To the papers, the league. Ruin her. Silence thickened like fog. Dylan sketched furiously, pencil snapping. Jordan's hand found mine under the table, squeezing till it hurt. Betrayal? Not Tyler's, Hargrove's, twisting old wounds for leverage. But Tyler had listened, nodded, considered throwing the game. You were gonna let him? I whispered, voice breaking. I didn't, I swear. But his eyes darted, guilty. Elena burst in then, rain-slicked and raging, CPS packet in hand, routine check, nothing more. She read the room like a scouting report, zeroed on Tyler. Talk! He spilled, sobs hitching, the weight of his slip crushing him. She didn't yell, just pulled him into a hug, fierce, her chin on his head. We all carry ghosts, Mijo, but you don't feed them. To us, Hargrove's a relic, scared of what he can't control. We play clean. We win true. But the fracture lingered. Practices turned brutal. Elena channeling fury into footwork, her whistle a war cry. Jordan and I stole breaths in the shadows, but tension coiled. Tyler's glances skittish, Marcus's jabs sharper. Dylan vanished into his room, emerging with a mural on the garage wall. 5 silhouettes against a storm, hands linked, unbroken. Semi's night arrived, arena humming under fluorescent buzz, Volcano Vista's band blaring like a taunt. Hargrove lurked courtside, his paunch straining the polo, eyes on Elena like a hawk scenting blood. We started hot, me boxing out their big, Jordan threading passes like silk. Up by 8 at half, crowd a roar of West Side faithful, signs waving. Renegades rise. Second half, they clawed back. Tyler hesitated on a drive, ball stripped clean. Marcus fouled hard, jawing at the ref. Elena called timeout, faces inches from ours in the huddle. This ain't about him. It's us. The secret is not what he thinks. I loved her, Rita. She died, car wreck after graduation. Hargrove, he blamed me, said I distracted her. But I trained her like you, hard, true. She shone. And so will you. Her voice cracked. First time we'd heard it waver. The biggest secret? How I trained this team. Not with drills. With heart. With the pieces of me she left. Betrayal stings, but it don't define. Love does. We exploded back. Dylan's 3 from logo range. Tyler's redemption crossover feeding Marcus for the flush. Jordan to me. Alley-oop thunder. The rim shaking like Judgment Day. Final buzzer. 72-68. We mobbed Elena. A pile of limbs and tears. Hargrove slinking into the shadows, his leverage dust. But the real climax waited in the locker room. Steam thick from showers. Adrenaline ebbing. Tyler confessed the rest. He texted Hargrove agreement, a moment of weakness, but deleted it. I couldn't. Not after. Everything. Marcus punched the locker, dent blooming, then pulled Tyler in. Dylan nodded, silent absolution. Jordan and I slipped away to the parking lot, stars pricking the ink-black sky. She knew, he said, leaning against the van. About us. From the start. I nodded, throat tight. Trained us for this too. To own it. He kissed me then, deep and sure, no rain to hide it. Elena emerged, keys jingling, spotting us but pausing, her smile faint, approving. Load up, champs. Finals tomorrow. State finals against the Farmington Scorpions, the dynasty from the north, arena electric with 5,000 souls. We led early, but they surged, pick and rolls slicing us. Their star a blur of speed and spite. Down 10 fourth quarter, clock bleeding out, Elena's final sub. All 5 of us, her boys, no backups. Play like you belong, she yelled from the bench, voice raw. We did. Tyler's no-look to Dylan, swish. Marcus's steal, coast to coast. Jordan's step back, me tipping in the miss. Tied at 55, 10 seconds left. Ball in Jordan's hands, he drove, kick to me at the elbow. I rose, whirled slow. Hargrove in the stands, ghosts of Rita. Elena's eyes locked on mine. The shot hung, pure arc, net ripple. Buzzer. 57-55. Champions. Confetti rained, brothers colliding. Elena buried in the scrum. Her tears salt on our skin. But the humanistic gut punch came later. At the after-party in our backyard, bonfire crackling under a canopy of stars. Hargrove's story leaked anyway. Anonymized blog post. Whispers of Elena's scandalous past. CPS circled again, boosters balked. She gathered us at dawn. Coffee steaming, court still littered with confetti ghosts. They'll come for me. Always do. But you? You're ready. College letters incoming, scouts buzzing. This team, it's graduated. Panic surged. We stay, Marcus growled. Tyler nodded fierce. Dylan sketched a quick heart on his napkin. Elena shook her head, eyes glistening. Nah, you fly. That's the training. Love hard. Hold secrets close. But never let em chain you. Jordan squeezed my hand. What about us? Her laugh soft now. Us? That's the win. All of it. She didn't lose the house. Fundraisers poured in, alumni rallying for the coach who'd rebuilt more than a team. But she stepped back, handing reins to an assistant, content to watch from the stands. We scattered that summer, me to UNM on partial ride, Jordan to the same roommates off campus. Marcus to community college ball in Santa Fe, Tyler chasing acting dreams in Austin, Dylan illustrating for a sports mag in Denver. Years on, we reconvene Thanksgiving turkey wars, pick up games where knees creak but hearts don't. Elena's grayer, knee brace permanent, but her whistle still dangles. Last Christmas, she slipped me a photo. Her and Rita, arms linked post-game, grins defiant. The original team, she said, trained her the same, to love without fear. Jordan and I, married now, quiet ceremony in the backyard. Hoopa's altar. 5 boys, now men, standing witness, Elena beaming front row. The secret? It wasn't betrayal or drills. It was her. Teaching us that family isn't blood or courts, but the unbreakable weave of chosen souls. Loving loud in a world that whispers no. We win still, every day. The confetti from that finals night clung to everything like stubborn hope. Bits of red and blue paper wedged in the seams of our championship jerseys, fluttering out of gym bags weeks later like tiny reminders that we'd pulled off the impossible. But as spring thawed into the blistering New Mexico summer of 2013, the high faded, and the real game began. Holding on to what Elena had hammered into us without her constant gravity pulling us back. I remember driving home from the victory parade, Jordan shotgun in my beat-up 92 Civic, windows down, Tejano blasting from the tape deck, feeling that first twinge of what-ifs. Think she'll really let us go? I asked, glancing at him over the rim of my aviators. He stretched, curls wild in the wind, his hand finding my thigh casual as breathing. She trained us to leave, Alex. That's the point. His words landed soft but true, echoing her post-game speech in the locker room, where she'd paced like a caged lion, sweat still beading on her forehead. This ring on your fingers is not the end. It's the key. We'd hooted then, adrenaline junkies high on the dub, but now, with the sun baking the dashboard to leather-scorching temps, it hit different. Leaving meant unraveling the only net we'd ever known. Elena didn't make it easy. That first week off, she corralled us for decompression drills. Her euphemism for grueling one-on-ones that left us sprawled on the court, staring at contrails like philosophers. Rest is rust, she'd grunt, tossing water bottles with pinpoint accuracy. Marcus thrived on it, his wiry frame bulking into something formidable, trash-talking in Navajo-laced English that had us doubled over. Come on, old man. My grandma dodges better than you. I'd fire back, but she'd just smirk, resetting the shot clock with a wrist flick. Tyler, though? He unraveled threads. The leak about Elena's past had boosters in a tizzy, anonymous emails to the principal, concerned parents' petitions for her ouster. Tyler internalized it, blaming his near betrayal like a stain he couldn't scrub. One evening, post-drill, he cornered me in the garage, tools clanging as he pretended to tinker with his skateboard. I almost tanked us, man. For what? Some washed-up coach's grudge. His voice cracked, blue eyes stormy. I clapped his shoulder, feeling the tremor. Nah, you fixed it. That's the play. Dylan observed it all, his sketchpad a silent confessor. He'd taken to drawing Elena as a mythic figure, Persephone with a basketball, emerging from the underworld of her losses. For her scrapbook, he'd mumble when caught, cheeks flushing. Jordan and I would steal peeks, tracing the lines where she'd inked our initials into the margins. A, J, M, T, D. A pentagon of protection. But the undercurrent between Jordan and me, it deepened, roots seeking water in the desert dry. We'd always been the yin-yang. Me the bulldog, him the poet, but championship glow stripped pretenses. Late nights, after Elena's snores rattled the thin walls, We'd slip to the arroyo, the dry riverbed, a ribbon of moonlit sand where cottonwoods whispered conspiracies. There, under a sky bloated with stars, we'd talk futures. Him dreaming graphic novels of queer athletes, me coaching pee-wee leagues to pay for tuition. Kisses turned fervent, hands mapping territories with the reverence of explorers. "You're my championship," he'd murmur, fingers laced in mine, and I'd believe it, fierce, fleeting. Elena clocked the shift. One dawn practice, just us two shooting freeze. She rebounded my brick and fixed me with that stare. "Love's like a fast break, Alex. Hesitate, you get stripped. Lean in, you score." I choked on my spit take, ball fumbling. "Eavesdropping now?" She chuckled, deep and rumbling. "Nah, just reading the floor." No judgment, just that nod, the one saying she'd paved this road long before we stepped on it. Later, over Huevos Rancheros, she slid me a dog-eared copy of Friday Night Lights, underlined passages on brotherhood bleeding into something more. "Read between the lines, kid." Summer crested with our first fracture. Tyler bolted to LA for a family visit. Code for crashing with distant cousins. Auditioning for bit parts in indie flicks. He called weekly, voice echoing hollow from payphones. "Hollywood's a meat grinder. But hey, at least the beaches beat this dust bowl." We laughed it off, but worry gnawed. Marcus threw himself into off-season camps, busing to Santa Fe for elite clinics, returning with shin splints and stories of scouts circling like vultures. "Anam wants me walking on," he'd brag, flexing tattoos fresh inked. A scorpion for the finals win, our initials coiled around it. Dylan and I bonded in the quiet, him teaching me charcoal strokes on butcher paper, me dragging him to indie band shows at Launchpad, where we'd mosh to the shins covers till sweat slick. "You're good at this," he signed once, ASL fluid as his jumpers. "Seeing people." I shrugged, but it stuck. Elena's training wasn't just physical. It was sight. Seeing the play before it unfolded, the hurt before it hit. Jordan, he pulled me under fully. Mid-July, during the state's annual hot air balloon fiesta, we ditched the family tether for a solo ride. Our savings pooled for one basket in a rainbow-striped envelope soaring over the Rio Grande Valley. Up there, wind whipping, earth a patchwork quilt, he dropped to one knee. "Not proposal, just promise. Wherever college takes us, it's you and me." "Ring?" "Nah." A braided leather cord with a turquoise bead, scavenged from a vendor. I kissed him till the pilot cleared his throat, landing us dizzy and devoted. Elena threw the bash that night. Backyard blowout with tamales from her sister's truck, mariachi playlist thumping. She pulled Jordan aside mid-dance, their heads bent close. I caught fragments. Protect him fierce, like I couldn't her. His nod solemn, her hand on his shoulder a benediction. When they rejoined, his eyes shone wet, and he squeezed my waist. "She says we're keepers." But August loomed, syllabi and dorm assignments like guillotines. Orientation hit, us hauling boxes into pinion-dormed halls, Elena's vans sagging under air mattresses and Elena's infamous care packages. Protein bars labeled "Fuel for Fools." Notes scrawled, "Play smart, love smarter." She lingered on move-in day, hugging us till ribs creaked. "Call if the world's too big." Then gone, taillights fading into rush hour crawl. College was a blitz, me majoring kinesio, him fine arts, classes clashing like mismatched defenses. We carved space. Shared studio apartment off Central, murals of court diagrams doubling as decor. Nights, we'd reenact plays on the threadbare rug, laughter dissolving into slow burns. But distance stretched the others thin. Tyler's calls dwindled to texts. Booked a commercial. Missed the chaos. Marcus powered through walk-on tryouts, starter by mid-season, but his voicemails crackled with strain. "Coach is a Hargrove clone, but I'm good. Swear." Dylan thrived quiet, his illustrations landing gigs with Albuquerque Journal, pieces on unsung athletes that tugged heartstrings. We flew him down for homecoming, his first plane ride a white-knuckled thrill, ending in tears at the airport hug. Elena, she coached JV now, her varsity throne abdicated to the assistant, but whispers said she was the puppet master still. We trekked back weekends, swelling the bleachers, cheering her pint-sized phenoms. One game, post-win, she cornered us in the hall. Heard about the bead. Classy. Jordan flushed. I grinned. You approve. Her eye roll fond. Kid. I invented approval. Fall turned crisp. Leaves skittering like loose balls. Betrayal's echo resurfaced. Not Hargrove's, but fresher. Tyler showed for Thanksgiving. Gaunt under the flannel, eyes hollow. Over Elena's turkey, he cracked. An agent promising stardom, but additions veering predatory. Casting couch shadows in a city of spotlights. I said no. Walked, but they blackballed me. Marcus's fork clattered. Dylan's pencil stilled. Elena reached across, voice steel-wrapped silk. Knows the strongest play. Now pivot. He did, enrolling community college spring. Film classes chasing docs on foster kids. We rallied. Weekend shoots in the backyard. Elena narrating voiceovers with gravelly gravitas. Cut. More grit. Less gloss. Winter break brought the storm. Jordan's folks, distant Chicago holdouts, sent a letter, not cash. Dissonant scrawled in lawyer font, citing lifestyle choices post coming out. He crumpled it by the bonfire. Flames licking high, our circle tight. They trained me to hide. You taught me to shoot. We burned it. Ashes swirling like absolution. Elena arrived with marshmallows, uninvited wisdom. Families earned, not given. You got 5+1. Climax brewed slow, then erupted. Spring finals week, Marcus called frantic. Benched for attitude. Whispers of a failed drug test. Framed, he swore, by a jealous teammate. We piled into the van, me, Jordan, Dylan shotgun sketching routes, barreling north. Elena drove, knuckles white on wheel. We'll unravel it. Santa Fe campus, sterile admin offices. His coach a smug echo of Hargrove. Test, tainted sample, lab error. But the accusation stuck, scholarship teetering. Elena stormed in, dossier in hand, witness statements, chain of custody logs she'd bullied from the trainer. Fabrication, she spat. And I'll sue your program to the Mesa if you don't reinstate. They folded. Marcus back on the floor by week's end, but scarred. Trust fractured like a sprained ankle. Thought I was past this, he admitted over post-game burgers, voice thick. We clinked bottles, trained for it. That summer sealed us. Elena's reunion camp, 2 weeks at a rented cabin in the Sangre de Cristos. Pines whispering, Lake Miraflat. No balls, just us. Hikes dissecting plays metaphorically, bonfires bearing souls. Tyler screened his short Strays to Stars, our story raw and real. Dylan unveiled portraits. Each of us, fierce and flawed. Jordan read poems, verses weaving our loves into tapestries. Marcus drummed on logs, rhythms echoing res songs. Me, I spoke the unsaid. Elena's secret wasn't Rita. It was us believing we could be whole. She teared up, first crack in the armor. You were the training, boys. My redemption. Nights, Jordan and I canoed to the cove, water lapping like heartbeats. Forever's the long game, he said, bead glinting. I kissed him, stars witnesses. Back in Albuquerque, life arced upward. I graduated, assistant coaching at West Mesa under Elena's shadow. Jordan's graphic novel deal, Court of Secrets, Queer Hoops Heroes. Tyler's doc premiered Sundance Bound. Marcus Pro tryouts, Dylan gallery shows. The humanistic close, Elena's 60th backyard bash redux. We gifted her a custom jersey. Coach Ramirez, original renegade. She donned it, whistle gleaming. To the team that trained me. We raised glasses, 5 boys, men, her legacy. Loves the drill. Relentless, revealing, redemptive. The cabin's embers from that reunion camp still glowed in my mind like a perpetual halftime show as we rolled into senior year at UNM. The Lobo faithful packing the pit with a fervor that made our high school wins feel like sandlot scrimmages. Jordan and I had carved out a rhythm in our cramped apartment. Him hunched over drafting tables till dawn, me charting X's and O's for undergrad clinics. But the pull of Elena's orbit lingered, a gravitational hum drawing us back to Albuquerque's dusty veins every break. It's like she installed GPS in our souls, Jordan joked one crisp October morning, steam rising from our coffee mugs on the balcony overlooking the arroyos snaking toward the Sandias. He wasn't wrong. Elena had evolved into our unofficial GM. Texts dissecting our games. Too much hero ball. Hail. Trust the pass. Care packages of her homemade salsa with notes. Spice up that bland love life. And unannounced drop-ins that left Jordan blushing and me scrambling to hide scouting reports. But beneath her banter, the weight of her past pressed heavier now that we'd cracked her armor. Rita's shadow wasn't a ghost anymore. It was a blueprint, inked in the way Elena coached with a tenderness masked as toughness. Her eyes flicking to empty courtside seats during big games as if waiting for a phantom cheer. The others felt it too. Marcus, grinding through his redshirt senior season at the JC up north, FaceTimed weekly strategy sessions. His dorm backdrop a shrine of our old jerseys. Coach says pivot on that pick. Your mom's a genius. Tyler, holed up in Austin editing his doc, sent rough cuts for feedback. Elena's voiceover edits turning raw footage into poetry. Survival ain't solo, it's symphony. Dylan, whose illustrations had landed him a residency in Taos, mailed originals. Elena as Athena, Spira basketball, her boys as constellations orbiting. But college life's fast break introduced new defenders. Doubt, distraction, the grind of independence chipping at our unbreakable. Jordan's novel hit snags, publishers loving the queer arc but balking at the gritty Foster edges. Urging polishes that felt like sandblasting soul. They want rainbows, not the storm. He'd vent, pacing our living room, curls disheveled. I'd pull him down, hands framing his face. Write your storm. Elena taught us that. My own blocks stacked higher. As TA for Intro Sports Psych, I lectured on resilience, but nights found me staring at ceilings, replaying foster file nightmares, the dad with the belt, the homes where beds were loans. Elena sensed it during a rare campus visit, cornering me post-class in the empty lecture hall. You're coaching from fear, not fire. Her words landed like a charge call. What if I burn out? Like you. She cut me off, hand on my arm. I didn't burn, Alex. I blazed. Rita, she was my spark. Lost her, but the light stuck. You're carrying mine now. Don't dim it. That convo ignited a pivot. I revamped my thesis, adoptive kinship in team dynamics, weaving our story anonymized, Elena's methods as case study. Professors raved. It became a panel at the NCAA conference, me on stage in Phoenix, Jordan in the front row sketching live. Post-talk, a scout approached. Not for ball, but mentorship. Your framework? Revolutionary for youth programs. Word spread. By winter, Elena and I co-launched Renegade Roots, a nonprofit clinic for foster kids, free drills, therapy circles, art jams. First session. 20 strays on the old West Mesa court, eyes wide as Elena blew her whistle. No quitters here, just winners waiting. Jordan designed the logo, a pentagon of hands, turquoise bead motif. Tyler filmed promos, Dylan's murals backdrop. Marcus guest coached, his JC ring flashing. Felt like legacy building, but undercurrents swirled. Jordan's book deal soured. Contract nixed over market risks. His agent ghosting. Queer stories sell if they're safe. The email read, a gut punch echoing Hargrove's venom. He spiraled, sketches turning abstract thorns. Nights lost to bars where I'd find him nursing IPAs, curls damp. Am I too much storm? I'd haul him home, van echoes of old rides. You're the whole damn sky. But cracks widened. One blizzard night, post-argument, he accusing me of prioritizing clinics over us. I stormed to Elena's, pounding snow from boots on her porch. She opened in robe and slippers, reading me like a play. Fight's part of the dance. Inside, over chamomile that tasted like regret, I spilled. His doubts, my overload, the fear we'd fumble like a wet ball. She nodded, pulling an old photo album. Rita mid-dunk, Elena courtside adoring. We fought too. She wanted out pro leagues overseas. I clung. Nearly lost her to pride before the wreck. Her voice hitched, rare vulnerability. Secret to training? Space. Let him shoot his shot. I swallowed pride, drove back at dawn. Jordan answered bleary-eyed. forgiveness in his yawn. Missed you, storm chaser. We rebuilt. Date nights at Frontier for green chili biscuits, hikes where we chart novels like offenses. His rewrite poured out, raw, unapologetic, landing with an indie press that bid Ward for it. Spring brought Marcus's miracle. JUCO Nationals, his squad upsetting giants, him MVP with 28 a night. We chartered a bus, Elena's treat, storming the arena in Tulsa, banners waving. Halftime down 8. He locked eyes with us from the bench, our chance a lifeline. Fourth quarter explosion. Crossovers, threes, a block that echoed like thunder. Tyler crashed the afterparty, fresh from a festival screening, Strays winning audience choice, clips going viral. It's us, he beamed, phone looping the trailer. Elena's voiceover, our backyard drills intercut with Foster stats, offers flooded TEDx grants, but he stayed grounded, enrolling UT film program fall. Dylan's Taos stint birthed a series, Mesa Muses, portraits of queer Southwest icons, Elena first canvas. Gallery opening. Adobe walls humming, collectors buzzing. He signed hers to the original muse, Love, Your Silent Sniper. She hung it in the living room beside Rita's. Climax crested summer 15, our farewell tour before Jordan's book tour and my grad school apps. Elena planned a road trip, Route 66 Redux, van loaded with coolers, playlists, ghosts. Started Albuquerque to Gallup, Marcus shotgun navigating, Tyler DJing Springsteen. Detours. Petrified Forest for Dylan's sketches. Cadillac Ranch for spray paint tags. Our initials in rainbow arcs. Nights camped under big skies, stories spun like yarn. Elena confessed more. Rita's wreck not random, drunk driver. A teammate bitter over bench time. Blamed me. Hargrove too. Said my distraction cursed us. Her laugh bitter. But love don't curse. It clarifies. Jordan. Wine loose by the fire. Probed. Regrets. She poked embers. Only not sooner. You boys? My do-over. Tension snapped in Amarillo. Stockyards reeking of regret. Tyler got a call. Agent revival, big studio sniffing his doc for series. Prime time, baby. But undertone, relocate to LA. Full time. We toasted. But his eyes darted. Echo of his near betrayal. Chasing spotlights over squad. Next leg. Oklahoma Plains. Van humming Dylan Thomas on audiobook. Marcus pulled over at a diner, voice low. Ties drifting. Like before. We confronted gentle over pie, fork scraping. Don't fade, I said. He teared. Scared. Success feels like running. Elena mediated. Run with us. Series can film here. Pivot landed, hybrid deal, Austin base. Relief washed. Finale in Chicago. Jordan's old turf. Wrigley under lights for a Cubs game. His dissonant letter ashes long scattered. We toured his childhood haunts. Lakefront walks, sketch pads out. At a dive bar, he raised a pint. To chosen over blood. Elena clinked, eyes misty. Amen. Back home. The weave tightened. My app accepted USC grad, but deferral for renegades. Jordan's tour launched. Court of Secrets bestseller. Queer lit darling. We married that fall, small, courtside. Hoop strung with lights. Vows. Through fouls and fast breaks. Rings. Turquoise beads set in silver. Years blurred. Me head coach at a Denver charter, Jordan adjuncting, novel stacking. Marcus G League, Tyler Emmy nod, Dylan museum shows. Elena, grandkids in spirit, our first, adopted like echoes. Her secret? Training wasn't methods. It was mirror. Reflecting our best, loving through the breaks. Humanistic arc. Not unbroken, but beautifully bent. Grad school at USC pulled me west like a tide I couldn't fight. The sprawl of Los Angeles swallowing me whole. Palm-lined boulevards choking with ambition. The ocean a constant tease on the horizon. Promising escape but delivering only salt-stung longing. Jordan stayed put in Albuquerque for his adjunct gig. Our marriage a long-distance layup tested by time zones and term papers. But Elena's voice became our halftime pep. Weekly calls triangulating from her kitchen. Her "You two romantics better not fumble this." Her laugh lines deepened over FaceTime. The ranch house behind her a time capsule of scuffed floors and championship banners. But her eyes held that same fire, undimmed. The Renegade's nonprofit boomed under my remote oversight, Elena running day-to-day, her JV alums volunteering, clinics popping in Santa Fe and Roswell. Funding flowed. Grants from the NBA's diversity arm. Sparked by Tyler's doc series Greenlight on PBS. Strays to Stars expanding to 6 eps. Our stories anonymized but achingly real. Episode 3's Your Kiss in the Rain. He'd text, emojis winking. Marcus guested on set. His G-League call-up fresh ink. Albuquerque irrigators, homecoming sweet as a buzzer beater. Dylan curated a pop-up exhibit in LA during my orientation week. Renegade reflections. Mirrors etched with our faces, forcing viewers to see themselves in the fractures. But distance bred doubt, a defender I hadn't scouted. Jordan's calls grew clipped, his classroom draining the poet from him. Admin breathing down on edgy content. Students more TikTok than Tolstoy. Miss your gravity, he'd admit, voice pixelated. I'd fly back monthly, the mile-high club of Southwest flights a ritual. Bad coffee, dog-eared manuscripts, landing to his curls in the terminal crush. Nights reacquainting. Slow dances in the kitchen to Coulter Wall, his head on my shoulder. We're good, I'd murmur, but the echo felt hollow. Elena clocked it during my fall break visit. We hiked the Sandias, her knee brace creaking on switchbacks. Autumn aspens a blaze of gold. Long games got lags, she huffed, pausing at a vista. Rita and I? Separated for her overseas stint. Letters like grenades, explosive, but bridged us. She unpacked a trail mix baggie, sharing almonds like secrets. Don't just endure. Engineer the play. Inspired, I pitched Jordan a compromise. Sabbatical swap. He applied for a semester in LA, UCLA guest lectures on graphic narratives. Approved by Christmas. Reunion at LAX felt cinematic. Him emerging from baggage claim, duffel slung, grin splitting clouds. We drove Santa Monica, windows down, his hand in mine over the stick. Your city's got bite, he said, nuzzling my neck at a red light. That night, Griffith Observatory under stars engineered by smog. We renewed whispers, no more lags. LA infused us. Jordan thrived in the chaos, collaborating with Tyler on doc graphics. His novel sequel Baseline Bonds birthing from beachside brainstorms. I buried in research, trauma-informed coaching, Elena as co-author, her anecdotes the spine. Renegades expanded west, pilot clinic in Inglewood, foster kids drilling on courts where Kobe once reigned. Marcus flew in for opener, his irrigator's jersey autographed for the kids. Slash through MC. Coach Ramirez vibes, he grinned, hugging Elena tight. Dylan joined virtually, shipping interactive art kits, sketch prompts tied to drills. Draw your unbreakable. Tyler's series premiered to acclaim, panel at Sundance where he outed our inspirations. 5 brothers, 1 mama bear, queer as the dawn. Backlash pinged. Trolls dredging Hargrove's old dirt. But support surged. Glad nods, donor spikes. Spring 17 crested with Marcus's pro milestone. First NBA Summer League invite, Warriors camp. We caravan north. Elena's van upgraded to a Subaru, AC blasting Tejano, crashing his tryout week in Oakland. Arena bowels hummed. Scouts in polos, balls thwacking like heartbeats. He shone, wingspan devouring lanes, threes kissing nylon. Contract inked. 2-way deal, G-League shuttle but NBA touch. Post-signing, dim some feast, he teared into dumplings. From res scraps to this, y'all the assist. Betrayal's ghost stirred subtle then. Jordan's sequel draft leaked. Early chapters online. Pirated by a rival author bitter over comps. Twist spoiled. Our Arroyo kisses, Elena's Rita reveal twisted into melodrama. Reviews panned pre-release. Exploits trauma for titillation. He crashed hard. Hold in our LA sublet. Blinds drawn. Ruined before birth. I called emergency huddle, plane tickets punched. Elena arrived dawn. Banging pots for decomp breakfast. Tyler streamed pep from Austin set. Dylan mailed a Phoenix sketch. Rise rewritten. Marcus FaceTimed from camp. Slash the noise. We rewrote feverish. Jordan at keys. Elena diagramming arcs like plots. Me fact-checking feels. Republished fall, it soared, NYT bestseller, Stonewall nod. Truth over tidy. The blurb read. Jordan's TEDx followed. Storytelling as survival, our Pentagon on stage via slides. But the real gut-wrencher brewed back east. Elena's checkup. Routine, she swore. Unearthed shadows. Knee arthritis flaring, but deeper. A heart murmur from years of stress pounding. Nothing a stent can't fix, she waved, but we smelled deflection. Post-op, hospital sterile as a sideline injury tent. She emerged pale but pugnacious. Benched me a week, like I'd sit. We rotated vigils. Me flying from thesis defense, Jordan canceling readings. Marcus bust from Oakland, Tyler chartering. Dylan arrived last, portfolio heavy. A commission. Elena and Rita reunited in ink, ethereal court of clouds. For strength, he signed, hugging her tubes. Recovery stretched summer, forcing slowdown. Cabin redux, sangres de Cristos, this time with nurses' notes and no-bake pies. Stories deeper. Elena on Rita's last letter, post-rec premonition. Train them fierce, love them free. That's you, she told us, circled by the lake. Tyler confessed his LA temptation relapse. A shady offer for authenticity arcs. Rebuffed but rattling. Almost sold soul again. Absolution in splashes, Marcus cannonballing. Jordan and I, steadied. His LA stint extended, full prof track. My thesis defended, PhD bound. We bought ringside. A fixer-upper in Echo Park, hoop in the drive. Fall brought pinnacle. Renegades Gala, LA Philharmonic Hall, black ties on strays. Elena keynote, stent scar hidden under silk. Training's not scars. It's stars from the breaks. Auction raised 6 figs. Dylan's piece fetching top. The Weaver, Elena's hands threading our fates. Marcus's call-up debuted nationally, Warriors blowout. His minutes a blur of hustle. We streamed from the gala, cheers drowning toasts. Tyler's series Emmy buzzed. Dylan MoMA invite. Climax cracked open Thanksgiving 18, Elena's house packed. Our first LA jaunt east, sublet swapped for bunk beds. Post-feast haze, she pulled me aside, photo in hand. Rita's championship ring, resized. For you too, pass it on. Jordan teared, slipping it beside our beads. Legacy layup, but humanistic twist. Her murmur recurred, surgery looming. Not quitting, she vowed. We rallied, clinics paused, flights booked. Or wait, she joked, worst timeout ever. Post-op clear, but epiphany landed. Semi-retire, consultant role. Time to bench, let you run point. We did. Me tenured track Denver, Jordan NYU fellowship. Others orbited. Marcus all-roster, Tyler showrunner, Dylan curator. Her secret unveiled fully. Training was transmission, passing torch not to burn but illuminate. Ending not tragic, but transcendent. Love's court eternal, plays unfolding infinite. The stent's shadow lifted like monsoon clouds parting, but Elena's semi-retirement marked a seismic shift. A handoff to the next generation. Her whistle gathering dust on the mantle beside Rita's ring, now alternating between Jordan and me like a talisman traded at tip-off. By 2020, the world had tilted on its axis. Pandemic lockdowns shuttering courts, our virtual huddles via Zoom glitching with lag and laughter. Elena's face pixelated but potent as she barked form critiques from her laptop perch. Elbows in, even on that keyboard, she'd yell, turning drills into digital lifelines for Renegades kids isolated in foster limbo. I'd landed the Denver gig, associate prof at Metro State, adjuncting coaching certs, while Jordan's NYU fellowship bloomed into tenure track, his East Village office a gallery of student murals echoing Dylan's style. Our Echo Park house sold quick in the frenzy, proceeds seating a Renegade satellite in the Rockies. Long-distance married life became our new rhythm, flights like free throws, consistent, crucial. Miss your half-court heave, he'd text mid-lecture. Me replying with a heart emoji scout report. Denver's cold, but you're the heat. The others adapted fierce. Marcus, bubble-bound in the G League, dropped 20 to 10 lines nightly, his irrigators clinching bubble title via stream parties where we don masks and jerseys. Elena toasting with margaritas. Social distance the drama, not the drive. Tyler pivoted his series to virtual docs, quarantine queens, queer elders sharing lockdown lore, landing Netflix pickup, his Austin bungalow a green screen haven. Dylan, Taos hermit turned, hosted online ateliers, teaching foster artists to channel cabin fever into canvases that sold for scholarships. But isolation amplified echoes. Jordan's calls turned confessional. NYC scrying gnawing. Colleagues side-eyeing his personal syllabus. Students ghosting office hours. Feels like hiding again, he'd admit. Voice tinny over Ethernet. I'd counter with Elenaisms. Read the room, then rewrite it. A cross-country surprise. Me at his door with in-and-out contraband. Reignited. Weekend whirlwind of Met walks. His hand in mine defying 6-foot rules. Elena's health stabilized, but age crept like a zone defense, 70 now, knee swaps and checkups routine. She channeled it into memoirs. Whistle-worthy, ghosted by Tyler, chapters dropping as podcasts. First EP, The Adoption Gambit. Our origins raw group home grit, that first backyard bounce. Listeners flooded. Survivors sharing, donors doubling. Your viral coach, Marcus teased during her Denver visit, him courtside for my exhibition game. That game, Metro State's home opener. Post-vax crowd thin but thunderous. Hit emotional overtime. Marcus suited up for ceremonial tip, his NBA two-way active but hard home. I paced sideline, Elena in the booster box, her nod my anchor. We eked a W post-game pile including her hobble downstairs. Still got the sauce, she winked, but later, over post-game shakes, confessed. Heart steady, but time's ticking. Train him while I can. 2021 unfurled golden. Renegades hit milestone, 1,000 kids touched. Clinics in 5 states. Gala virtual, but star-packed. LeBron cameo vid. Tyler emceeing from red carpet sim. Dylan's centerpiece NFT drop. Animated Weaver, proceeds exploding crypto coffers. Jordan's third book, Overtime Obsessions, Queer Romance and Sports Psych, option for series. Him consulting, me cameoing as prof husband. Marcus's leap, full NBA contract, Warriors rotation player. Debut nationally, Monday night, Golden State versus Lakers. Us flying west, Elena VIP with oxygen tank chic. Arena roar swallowed us. He checked in, curls slicked, our eyes locking pre-tip. 10 minutes, 6 points, a chase-down block that went viral. Post-win, locker room scrum. He bear-hugged. For the squad. Elena slipped him Rita's ring replica. Wear it. Feel the fire. Betrayal's final feint came sly. Tyler's Netflix deal snagged. Execs demanding, tone down the gay. Soften foster edges for broad appeal. Echo of Jordan's leaks, Hargrove's grudge. He raged to us group chat. Sell out or starve. Elena called emergency pod, her me in Denver office, Jordan NYU lounge, others patched. Core's the sell, she decreed. Pivot or pass. He pivoted, indie streamer counteroffer. Uncut vision. Strays Unchained launched raw. Emmy sweep. Him showrunning from a writer's room stacked with Renegades alums. Climax converged summer 22. Elena's 75th. Pandemic postponed. Now epic. Rented Mesa Ranch. Hot air balloons dawn patrolled. Court etched in wildflowers. Guests. 100 fosters, NBA suits, queer icons. Vows renewed hours, Jordan and me under the hoop. Beads exchanged. Marcus best man dunk demo, Tyler montage screening, Dylan live paint portrait. But the gut punch. Elena's toast, Mike trembling slight. Adopted 5 boys? Nah, they adopted me. Taught this old coach grace. Tiered confessions. Rita's spirit in every drill. Our love's her redemption. Biggest secret? Training wasn't secret. It was simple. See them. Love them. Let them lead. We led. Post-party, she gifted deeds. Renegades trust. Us bored. Run it your way. Years accelerated, 2025 now. Me Dean at Metro, Jordan department head. Marcus All-Star, family man, wife, twins slashing mini hoops. Tyler Oscar Nod, Dylan Smithsonian wing. Elena, snowbird in Tucson, winters with us, stories unfurling porchside. Last visit, her 90, frail but fierce. No tragedy here, just triumph. We nodded, Pentagon complete, her boys, eternal teammates. The secret, how she trained. With heart's unyielding arc, turning strays to stars. Humanistic close. Life's court vast, but love scores forever.